everybody. So today we're going to have a side-by-side of the 2019 Bourbon County Brand Stout and the 2020 version. Now this is November 27th of 2020. Technically this 2020 version was just put in stores today. And the 2019 version is a year old. Let's say from Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the day that they usually come out. Now these beers are open. I'll link a card up above, but I have done a individual tasting on both. Now this 2019 version was one I picked up in 2019. Now I'm not 100% sure how it works. I don't know. I'm guessing that Goose Island sends older versions to stores, but I also know, I'm sure that stores sometimes keep some back. If it's not selling well, then put it out the next year. I don't know how it, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't know how they keep it, how they cellar it. So this one has been in my basement, 65 degrees in a back corner in a 24 bottle box. So that's what I'm going off of. Now the 2019 version is 14.7% ABV. Notes of vanilla, toffee, chocolate, burnt sugar, and dried fruits. The 2020 version is 14.6% ABV. Aromas of charred oak, vanilla, caramel, and smoke. So I'm just going to put these over here for right now. I still have some in there, but I will be drinking both of these all day long probably. For the head, the 2020 version I would say wins. Is it by a mile? No. There is a tiny bit of head on there. Right now it's like a light chocolate colored around the ring, and that's about it. For the color, I would say they're exactly the same. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, I would say they're the same. They're both black. They do have a dark amber hue at the bottom of the both of them, but I think that's just because the glasses are concaved, so it's letting a little bit in there. Let's go ahead and smell, see if we can pick up differences out of them, which we should. I think that bourbon oak really sticks out in the 2019 version. Burnt, what do they call it? Burnt sugar. I'm almost positive if I can find it. Yeah. If anything, I think it's more dried fruits, dark fruits than anything. I could see that in a lot of these heavy imperial stouts that are using darker malts. You're going to get some of that dried fruit, dark fruit that's coming out. I think the 2020 version right now, because it is fresh, which my guess is it's at least 3-4 months old, I'm guessing, because I think No Hype did his back in October, at the beginning of October, so I'm sure they shipped them out before that. But that the 2020 version is more like a bourbon oak with alcohol. Like when comparing the smells, it smells a lot younger as a wet barrel, like fresh out of a barrel, where you're going to get that bourbon oak smell. Now for the other smells, the charred, I don't know, at least maybe a touch of charred oak, but that, like I said, that bourbon oak really comes through with that alcohol. a slight charred oak, if anything. I'm guessing, I don't know. I think, at least right now, I would say there's something sweet, like maybe it has brown sugar in the 2020 version. Like there's some sweetness after that bourbon oak that come out. Yeah, I think the 2019 version smells older. Like it's not that punchy in your face bourbon oak. Like you still get it, but it's just mellow. Let's go ahead and taste. See, in that it is it is sweet. It's almost like a dessert stout. You get some of that chocolate, a lot of sweetness in there, but I get those dried fruits, those darker fruits. I wouldn't say tangy, but maybe a touch sour or tartness coming out of there. I'm guessing it's the malt, but yeah, it tastes fruity, dark fruit on top of all the other layers that are there. I think the 2020 version is more intense, but I think it's because it's that charred oak. I think that charred oak really brings out that bourbon, that vanilla, and really takes over, almost wrecks your palate because it's still there. But it's not. I guess I shouldn't say wreck your palate because that makes it sound like it's bad. But I think after that bourbon oak, you get that chocolate coffee. Even though you're using dark roasted malts, you're going to get chocolate, you're going to get coffee. But it almost seems like in the back to the aftertaste to bring out more chocolate. And I want to say bitter chocolate, but I think I said it in the review. I think it's that charred oak that's bringing that bitterness to it. Yeah, I think right now, obviously, they're completely different beers, even though they're made, or at least from the labels, they're completely different. I think the 2019 version is a lot smoother, mellowed out, aged, versus the 2020 version. So that's why I said I'll bring it up real quick. I think Untapped should make a button if it's a year old, if it's 2 years old, if it's 3 years old, because these scores, which I wouldn't go by Untapped, I would go by what you like, but these scores could really fluctuate because in 2019 when this came out, you could have a whole bunch of bad scores. Then with the amount of people that age them, come back and give them, high scores after they've aged a year, could really skew that rating. And so I think when you scan it or type it in and you get to the beer, it should say aged 1 year, aged 2 years. Maybe just put it in for every imperial stout or something like that. Because yeah, you can really tell the difference, and some people are going to like the aged ones more than the fresh ones. Now in this case, I would rate, which I did do, the 2020 a little higher. It feels like I like that char. I think that char plays well with that chocolate coffee in there. But again, like I said, chocolate coffee, you're gonna get that from the roasted malts. The dried fruit, and I don't know why, and it's almost in every one, almost, at least in this, drinking these like this, it's almost like, okay, it's going bad. Like that tartness in there, which I know it's not. I know they had a run, what was that, 2014 or something, that they had some infected ones. It doesn't taste infected. It's just, for whatever reason, I would like to have charred oak over, darker fruits in this case. So, yeah, my winner would be the 2020. Everybody's going to be different. If you can, I would pick up more than one bottle if you can. Now, at my store where I went, it was limit 2 for the standard versions and limit 1 for the specialty ones or variants. But yeah, I would definitely pick up a couple if you can, and save one until next year, and see how you like it then. But yeah, at least in this scenario, I would give it to the 2020. Even though the 2019 is good and has been aging a year, I think at least right now the 2020 is better. Let me know what one you guys like, and until next time, happy brewing.